Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2024, and today I want to talk to you all about being needed versus being wanted. There are so many people that I talk with who want to be needed, and there are so many reasons behind that, but I want to kind of unpack some of those reasons as well as some of the dangers of always wanting to be needed. So some of the reasons why people want to be needed is because, for one, they fear abandonment. They reason that if a person needs them, then they can't leave them. So they always search out and seek out people who are broken, who are damaged, who are needy, who are codependent, so that way they always feel needed. Another reason is because they have a Messiah complex or a God complex, and they feel as though it's their duty to help other people. Um, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But a third reason is poor boundaries. It's a feature of codependency to always seek out other people who need help. It's about this person taking over responsibility. And normally, those people come from alcoholic and substance abuse backgrounds. Either their mother, father, some family member was an alcoholic and they felt the need to caretake. They've been typecast in that role growing up. And so they have poor boundaries. They don't know where they begin and the person ends. So they always feel it's their responsibility to caretake and to rescue and to save and to be over responsible for this person's life. It's not okay, you know? So once again, it's that fear of abandonment. It's those poor boundaries. It's this God and Messiah complex, which, quite frankly, we're not God. We're not Jesus Christ. We cannot save other people. We can't walk on water. We can't perform miracles. We're not miracle workers. We don't have that capability as human beings. But yet some people feel as though they have to rescue other people. And the funny thing about that is oftentimes you enable poor behavior when you continue to try to rescue people from the consequences of their poor choices. The thing about it is this: there is a natural consequence for poor choices. And when you do not let that natural consequence happen, you enable that poor behavior to continue. And that's the truth. I treat clients every single day, and they have friends and family members who continue to enable their dysfunction. And the family, at the heart of it, they're afraid that if they don't do anything, that the person's going to die. That's the fear. That if they don't give them money to use, if they don't do some kind of act of service, that the person is going to put themselves in danger and go out there and get it anyway, and they'll die. That's the fear. But the reality is this: you gotta let people hit bottom. And by trying to have this Messiah complex and this Savior complex and the God complex, no. What you're doing is you're postponing their healing. You are delaying their healing. You are interfering also with karmic justice. People don't realize this, that they could actually be interfering with God's work and God's plan and purpose. Because the thing about it is this: there are some people out here who need a lesson. And if you continue to step in because you want to feel needed, you continue to step in and interfere with God's purpose, that person is not learning a lesson. That person is not getting what they need, that lesson that they need, that discipline that they need in order to elevate to their highest self. So you could actually be hindering their growth, thinking that you're helping them. So the thing about it is this: always wanting to be needed, I wouldn't advise it. There was a time when I always wanted to be needed, and it stemmed from a fear of abandonment. It stemmed from me being afraid that my father would leave once again. So every other person would be like my father. And so it was that fear, you know? And I realized that always wanting to be needed, you leave yourself. How do you leave yourself? Because here's the thing. Here's what they don't tell you about always wanting to be needed. When you always want to be needed and you seek out relationships that make you feel needed, what ends up happening is that those people don't see your needs. Your needs become invisible. Your needs become placed on the back burner. So you have a bunch of people out here who are getting their needs met, but your needs go unaddressed. And what that leads to is anger, resentment, bitterness, and blame. When really the responsibility and the onus is on you to take care of your needs and to articulate your needs. It should be about mutual aid, mutual sharing, people helping one another, reciprocity. It's not about one person taking care of all of another person's needs while their needs just go unaddressed. That's not fair. And that's what happens when you always seek out other people who need you. Your needs get left out in the cold. Your needs oftentimes are not seen as valid, because they also get so used to you being in that role of caretaker. They don't know what to do when you find yourself in a crisis, and when you articulate that, that's when they leave. That's when they leave you, and then you feel abandoned, and then once again, you are abandoned. You were trying your best to avoid being abandoned, but you end up abandoned anyway. For one, you've abandoned yourself when you do not require and demand other people address your needs. That's one. That's self-betrayal. That's self-abandonment. And then you get abandoned a second time when you do articulate your need and the person is not capable and they don't have the capacity to address your needs. And that's why you need to search for people and friends and relationships that have the capacity to hold you when you need. Because oftentimes we seek out relationships that need us. But what about our needs? It's okay to have needs. We live in a world nowadays where people try to accuse you of being needy if you have needs. But it's okay to have needs. I have people in my life who they don't understand my love. My love is a love that wants you. My love does not need you. And I know that seems like a contradiction based on what I just said, but let me explain. Having needs and being needy, two different things. There are people in my life who want me to be needy. They want me to constantly cling and constantly be needy because that's how they maintain control. And that's how they feel safe. But I'm not comfortable with that. I rather want people. I want you in my life. I want to spend time with you. I want us to enjoy each other. I don't need it. Because that's the thing. Need implies dependence. Dependence, in a way, keeps you weak. And need taken to a certain point, and that's once again, that's what I want to clarify. Need taken to a certain point implies dependence. And when you are, this is my experience, when you are dependent on other people, that gives them the license to treat you any kind of way. And I've experienced it firsthand. When people see that you need them, that you are in need, that's the exact moment that they pick to actually treat you like you don't even matter. They know that you ain't going nowhere. They know that they can treat you any kind of way because you need them. So they exploit your need. And that's why I'm not so comfortable being needy to that point. I rather want. Because want dignifies me. Want allows me the choice. Not having to stay somewhere because I'm in desperate need. You know? And so if I have my choice, whether I want someone to want me or need me, I want to be wanted. I want someone to want to spend time with me because I also want to dignify their freedom too. At any given moment, you are free to choose whether or not you want to be with me. I don't want you here because you feel obligated. I don't want you here under duress. I don't want you here because you feel forced. No, because you're mandated by your own desperation and your own need. No. I want choice. I want you to choose to be with me. And at any given moment, there is the door. You know, and that's what I've had to learn. I've had to learn that, you know, showing people an exit at the beginning of a relationship is important. There's an exit, there's an entrance, and there's an exit. Like Shakespeare says, all the world's a stage and we are merely players. Everyone has their entrance and everyone has their exit. And you show people the exit at the beginning. I show you that at any given time you can walk out and I'm going to be just fine. Because that's the thing, I was born into this world by myself, with myself, and I'm going to check out with myself. So that's the thing, you'll be fine. You will be okay. But I don't want people needing me because needing me means that you don't see my needs. Needing me means that my needs become invisible to you and that I'm always in the service of your needs and taking care of you and caretaking you. And that's not an equitable relationship. That's an imbalanced relationship that creates a very, very imbalanced power dynamic. And that type of relationship oftentimes is very parent-child, very just doctor-patient. There's always that power dynamic where one person's here and one person's down here. That's not cool. You want a relationship of equals. You want mutual equals, not a relationship where you have to parent or reparent somebody. That's exhausting. So that is the ideal. I know that there are people who still want to be needed because they're still afraid that somebody will leave them. You know? But like I said, the funny thing about that also is that once they do get their needs met, once the need is filled, what keeps them bound to you? The reality, truth be told, is nobody is anybody's. At any given moment, people can walk out of your life, be it on their own volition, or be it based on death, based on some other consequence. That's just how it is. That's life. And so, since we can't control that, we just hope and pray that they want us, that they desire to be with us genuinely. And if that's the case, that's wonderful. If it's not, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Most importantly, you have your Heavenly Father and you got yourself. And so I definitely want your opinions, y'all. You know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to be needed or do you prefer to be wanted? And why? Because I'm definitely interested in your feedback. So thank y'all for listening. Peace.